Welcome to the Anita and Dario show,
where we eat, work, and play the Mediterranean way. It's not a diet, but a lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Today, we're going to talk about olive oil, and we've got lots of questions about olive oil. So, people have been asking. We're going to get into the benefits of olive oil, we're going to get into its uses, and we're going to debunk some of the myths that are out there.
The Anita and Dario Show. The art of savoring, discovering how to fully indulge in the present moment, savoring every experience, every morsel, and every breath, unlocking the deeper appreciation for the beauty of life and the Mediterranean lifestyle.
Oh, live your life. Get inspired and cherish moments with food, travel, cooking, the Mediterranean way.
So, olive oil. We love our olive oil, especially you.
I could drink it.
We use it in 98% of our recipes. If you look at our recipes online or check out any of our videos, we use it on our skin and hair whenever we can. And Dario has been a judge also for olive oil. So we've experienced countless number of olive oil tastings. You, of course, more than me, being a chef and going through it all. But so we have a little bit of experience behind us, and we use it all the time, and we understand and we love our olive oil, as you can see in many of our videos that we do in our recipes. So I'm going to talk first about my side of things with olive oil. I look at the health perspective of olive oil. Many people call it the Mediterranean diet. We don't. We call it a lifestyle. And part of that is eating in a balanced way. And olive oil is a big, huge part of that. Dario is going to get a bit more into the types and the flavors and some of the uses of olive oil. And I'm going to get into some of the health characteristics. Characteristics.
Say it twice again.
Characteristics.
There we go. You always remember that.
To olive oil. So for number one, it has so many vitamins. Two of the key ones are vitamin E and vitamin K, and they're very, very important. It is very good for your heart, anti-inflammatory. It's good for diabetes,
right,
for so many things that are ailing you in your life. And olive oil has been proven to be able to help you in those areas. So adding some olive oil, and Daria is going to talk about different areas that you can add your olive oil that are so important. Anti-inflammatory is really, really big. Also, the antioxidants that olive oil has, because it is from the fruit, the olive, of course, that's really, really important. We also use it on our skin and on our hair. There are a lot of studies that have shown that it actually adds more moisture to your skin. Now, to put it on your skin directly overnight or something, it's very heavy and it can clog your pores. So there are a lot of products that are out there that add olive oil in there with other things so that it can be a little bit more useful in those areas. But for your hair, you can put it on directly. For your body, you can put it on directly. And it's so good for those reasons, for sure. So Dario, get into the uses, the benefits, and the flavors. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. It was one more thing, and I remember then you were saying it. When we were kids, with some of the silly things we do when we were kids, we used to use a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of mineral water, and we used to put it on our skin to suntan.
Oh
and
my gosh.
Crushed a lot of the sun. So, you got to be very careful. I don't recommend the people that have fair skin. So be very, very, very careful.
I have to ask.
Yes.
There was something about putting the olive oil in the ring of your eye.
Well, that was an old that was an old tale. My grandmother used to say it was an orzaiola. I don't know you call it in English. It's
The outer side of your eye?
a sty.
Oh, a sty in your eye.
So if you had a sty in your eye, you would have to put your eye with a sty on it right in the center, what is the bottle, the neck of the bottle, and
the hole.
Point it right to the bottom. And I guess the steams of the molecule into the oil will actually purify and remove all the bacteria.
Did you ever do it?
All the time.
Wow.
Yes, and I think it worked.
Do or don't try this at home. It is a myth, but it has worked for you. So
it worked for me. It happened to me once, and I remember my grandmother kept insisting on it for me to do it, and I did it, which is fine, and I enjoy it. Olive oil, cooking, usage, and everything. So we are a little biased on it, and we love olive oil. Anita was saying it. We use it in multiple ways. In the Mediterranean culture, olive oil is used for many benefits. The purity of olive oils, the branches, the press, the cold press, additive or not, when to cook with olive oil, when not to cook with olive oil. That are all the important principles we are talking about. Smoke point, the smoke point of an olive oil, so an extra virgin olive oil is never recommended, for example, to fry with. Is a unrefined olive oil, very pure, very clear, with a very low smoke point. I mean, we are looking at a smoke point that is between 420 degrees. So you have to be very careful. You cannot, when our regular olive oil, then you can use it, that is refined, okay, then you can use to fry, go up to 440, some 450. So the smoke point is much higher.
So if someone had an omelet or something like that, they could use an olive oil?
Well, you could use an olive oil, but I would not personally use a very high quality extra virgin olive oil. I would use a virgin olive oil.
Okay, gotcha.
And I would finish it, if you want, with an olive oil. Classical example. Let's say we want to make a simple omelet. You fry your egg, you make your omelet with whatever ingredients you want inside. And then at the end, you want finish it with maybe some salad greens or some fresh tomato or a slice of avocado on the omelet. After the omelet is done, at that point, I would use a good quality extra virgin olive oil.
You're making me hungry. You're making me hungry.
Are you? I'm always hungry.
Thinking of that.
So the idea is to always making sure then a good quality olive oil, extra virgin, is not as refined, obviously, because it's kept fairly pure. Okay. But of course, the flavor, the natural, the olives, a little bit of the bitterness. Some olive oil are different from other. If you're looking at Italy, for example, for the northern part of Italy in Liguria, where you go down to Tuscany, Umbria, Puglia, and Sicily, they're all very different. Which is better? It's up to you. But obviously there is a sense of acidity, almost spiciness sometimes, and a little bit of citrus. It depends all from the terroir. Usage. Well, usage in olive oil, for us personally, it's something we use, like Anita was saying, 98% of our cooking. And where you keep your olive oil, that's another thing people don't think. I see, we go to many houses and you see your stove, and above your stove, the little cabinet,
yeah,
they put olive oil. That's probably the worst spot to put an olive oil.
Yeah.
An olive oil should be in a lower part of your kitchen, in a very dark spot, away from heat, because the composition will change your olive oil.
And that's why olive oil glass has to be very dark too, right?
Correct.
The light.
Exactly. So a bottle of olive oil, you always see it in the container, the glass is very dark. In some places, when you go in Italy, you see the extra virgin olive oil, then is in a dark glass jar, and then wrapped in this little film of tin foil. So there is no penetration of light. That composition will change. Simplicity. I always call olive oil the perfect condiment, to a point that sometimes it will give you the perfect seasoning on whatever you're doing. I'll give you a practical example. For me, one of my favorite things is a plate of pasta, a plate of rice, and vegetable. For the pasta, just lightly cooked al dente. and then finish with just olive oil and maybe a little bit of Parmigiano.
Do not add to the water when
No,
you're boiling.
yeah, this is the other thing. Then we want to really.
My family used to do that.
We really want to stay away from that concept of putting, which I never really quite understood, putting olive oil into your water.
But it was supposed to allow the pasta to not stick together.
Well, because people were lazy, they didn't want to stir it.
I don't know.
It makes no sense. It makes no using a wonderful product and really misusage into the water.
Yeah,
absolutely not. So to me, this is the purity. My favorite thing, my ultimate favorite thing. So we do still at home, in the summertime or when harvest time of our gardens, or when we go to places, is sliced tomato, sliced cucumber, pinch of salt, and olive oil, and that to me is eating. Or a fresh buffalo mozzarella, or mozzarella, or bufala, a little bit of olive oil. That is unique. Usage.
You're salivating.
Yeah, I am salivating. Usage when you're finishing. Think about making a delicious soup, a wonderful soup. Then you start. You work very, very hard, and sometimes what we think is adding, hot sauce. Think about finish it with a good quality olive oil. You do not just adding health benefit, as Anita was just saying to you, but it's also is giving you great flavors. So to me, it's
so many benefits.
It's one of the, exactly.
Yeah.
So many things that we are fortunate enough to have some really good friends in Italy. Then we see when we are there, and during the month of October, that's when it's the harvest of olive oil, and you really have an appreciation, I think, and more so about the work goes behind making olive oil.
We worked hard, and they worked even harder.
They worked very hard. They worked for it depends how many hectares, how many acres of trees of olive oil they have. It's days, weeks of work, and the process needs to be done quickly. So they pick the grapes, which is a lot of work, with all this netting. They put them on this tractor, and then they go to the press right away, because the maturity, the flavors are very, very important and delicate. And then the challenges. Remember, we're dealing with Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So if you have a bad hailstorm, or lots of rain, or problems with the temperature or the climate, you're losing a crop. You're losing those specific flavors. So it's an appreciation of the product.
But that's why they call it almost like a liquid gold.
It is.
And people wonder why the extra virgin olive oil is so expensive.
Right.
And it's because of the health properties. It's because of the flavors. It's because of so many things that it just adds to every dish, to your life, to your health, so many different areas.
So, and you look, for example, I mean, we go back to the culture, and I mean, some of the biggest producer on the Mediterranean culture of olive oil, they are Spain, Italy, Tunisia, Greece, Turkey, Portugal, really country, then they really are upcoming. Spain has done a fantastic job, really producing high quality olive oil, part of the culture, part of their finishing, part of their condiments. In Italy, if you go in a region of Tuscany, for example, bread is unseasoned, because at that time salt was very expensive. So they created a bread that has no seasoning in it. So what they done, olive oil was the condiment. There is a dish called fetunta. Fat means slice. Unta means had it with some fat. So fetunta is nothing but a toasted, beautiful, crusty bread covered with olive oil. And eaten like that. But pure olive oil from the press. Simplicity. If the product is a good quality, that's what you do.
I remember having breakfast in Spain, and they would have the toast in the morning, and they would get some olive oil, and then they would puree some tomatoes and put
grate
that
it,
on there.
grate it on it.
Yeah, so they would either puree or grate. So we actually got a really nice dish that was out of ceramic that had like grooves in it. And so what you would do was you would grate the actual tomato over it, and it was so good.
Yeah.
Just the simplicity of bread, olive oil, and tomatoes. And there's so many great dishes that can be made with olive oil. But I think, Dario, are you done with your part?
Am I done with my part?
I don't know.
I could be talking for hours.
I know you can. He knows so much. And so that's why I think we're going to sign off this one to say that we're going to do a live answering some questions.
Yeah.
I think we're going to do that probably in the next couple of weeks or so. So if you have some questions, put them in the comments below wherever you're watching this, and then we will get back to you on our live that we'll do in a couple of weeks. You'll learn about our lives. The best way is to go over to our newsletter, because we always give you an alert a few minutes before that the live is going to come out, or the video. So that's the best place to go. And then if you have some questions, put them in there. We've got tons and tons of people have asked us things. There's also the regulations around olive oil, what to look for, what bottles. There's so many things to look for, and we're there to answer some of your questions, and we can go from there. So I guess it's Anita and Dario show. We're signing off.
We're signing off. No more oil.
I think we could talk forever, actually.
Yes, we can.
You especially. I gotta admit,
your olive oil everywhere.
Yeah. So ciao, everybody, and have a great day. Bye-bye.